Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Satyabama, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Zoology, MV Muttaya Government Arts College for Women, Dindikkal. First and foremost, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the principal, Arulmilu Palaniyandavar Arts and Science College for Women, who gave this opportunity to deliver the ideas about ozone a protective shield for earth. Today I'll be sharing a little bit of information about greenhouse gases, global warming, their cause, effects, the ozone umbrella, the ozone hole, and how to mitigate them and how to protect us from these unwanted pollution hazards. The environment for man is the earth. Of course, earth is the big house of the human being. Earth is the credited as the most lovable living planet. It is the home for all the living organism. Either it may be plant, animal, microorganism. So, the atmosphere of the earth consists of different layers which are named as troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Of course, the atmosphere contains different types of gases. Of all, the composition of nitrogen seems to be the dominant one, which is about 78.08 percentage, and oxygen is about 20.9 percentage. And the beautiful the services that are done to the entire global world are it is blocking the unwanted ultraviolet radiation. It moderates and monitors the climatic condition, and it assures and redistributes the hydrological cycle by which we are getting the water. Coming to the different layers of the earth, the troposphere, which is the lowest and closest to the bottommost surface of the earth, 75 percentage of the entire atmospheric mass, that is the water vapor and aerosols that found over here. When you travel up from here, you can enjoy the cold environment because as the altitude increases, everyone knows that the temperature will decrease. The weather, the climatic conditions will be happening in this layer. Next follows the stratosphere. So here, that will be colder nearer the surface of the earth, and further if you travel higher, then you can enjoy the warmer condition slightly, not too much. That warmer condition is because of the conduction and the convection of the heat being radiated. And here, when too much of energy is being transferred, that heat will be absorbed by the ozone layer. So, absolutely, in the stratosphere, you can witness the ozone layer. That is the top of the stratospheric layer is the ozone. So this stratosphere start out as a colder layer. This ozone layer absorbs all the harmful UV, that is the ultraviolet radiations, and protect us from these unwanted radiations. You just see this is the troposphere, and next comes the stratosphere. In the stratosphere is the ozone layer, which is a protective layer, which is the protective umbrella. It is acting as a shield, thereby it is protecting us. And next one is the mesosphere. That is a middle layer. The depth is about 40 kilometer. It is warmer closer to the Earth's surface, and it is the coldest layer of the atmosphere. And the meteoroids usually burn up in this layer. However, it allows the good sun rays to radiate and to heat up the earth. And we don't have that much understanding about this mesosphere. And next comes the thermosphere, that is the farthest layer. And here the somewhat all the radiations will be absorbed and turns into electrically charged particles, and temperature too will be higher. Even it will be more than 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. On comparison of all the layers, the thermosphere is the hottest layer, and here the space station orbit starts. And the last one is the exosphere. This is the outermost layer, and here the gases all will be started to escape. And some of the gases found here are the hydrogen, helium, and carbon dioxide. Solar radiation seems to be very strong, and it is absorbed by the oxygen, nitrogen molecules, and that will be turned into electrically charged particle. And satellites too will be orbiting here, and our TV and our mobile, our cell phone signals will be traveling to the satellites, and they get bounced back to us. So this exosphere is also doing a lot of wonderful things to us, and atoms and molecules escape into the space here. And this image depicts the different layers of the atmosphere. You see, the stratosphere is found at the center, and at the four corners, you can see the different layers. So, we are going to talk about the ozone, which is the topmost layer of the stratosphere. And when want to proceed into the ozone layer, we'll have a glance about the air pollution, that is the unwanted one that is being added on to the atmosphere, and that is corrupting the atmosphere, that is changing the basic qualities and the good quality of the air. And you can categorize the air pollutants into primary air pollutants and secondary air pollutants. Primary or being directly being added into the atmosphere. Secondary is the emitted primary air pollutant that reacts with the substances that are normally found in the atmosphere to produce the secondary air pollutant. So primary will be reacted with the already present substance to form a secondary air pollutant. And you just see the diagrammatic representation here. Some of the primary air pollutants are the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and hydrocarbons. And the secondary air pollutants are the nitrates, sulfates, and PAN, that is peroxyacetyl nitrate, ozone. So, ozone, what we are going to see, seems to be the secondary air pollutant. And some of the classes, there is a major class of the air pollutants are given here. They may be solid or liquid particles, soot or lead particles or sulfuric acid droplets. They may be toxic, they may be carcinogenic. They can be a particulate material, they may be oxides, they may be hydrocarbons, and one significant among that is the ozone. And when you talk about the nitrogen oxide, they may stimulate the chemical interaction between the atmospheric nitrogen and the oxygen at high temperature, resulting in the formation of greenhouse gases, sulfur oxide 2 gas that are produced with the chemical interactions between the sulfur and the oxygen. They causes the acid precipitation and acid rain, and carbon oxide such as the carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, that is resulting in the formation of greenhouse gases. And the hydrocarbons, example of the methane, and they are related with the photochemical smoke and the greenhouse gases. Here, this is an image from where the pollution sources are emitting the pollutants and adding pollutants to the atmosphere, resulting in the formation of greenhouse gases, ozone hole, global warming, and how a photochemical smog is being formed. Here, the solar energy, sunlight is being shed from the sun, nitric acid, peroxyacetyl nitrate, formaldehyde, and then ozone. They're all at the top. And how the reaction is being carried out in the middle. And what are the source of the pollutants such as the nitric oxide, carbon dioxide, and the hydrocarbons. So they react together. The reaction is being carried out in the atmosphere. And coming to the ozone, the oxygen gas which is present in the atmosphere, which has got the molecular formula of O2, they are being added with one more oxygen atom. That happens in the presence of hydrocarbon and nitrate, resulting in the formation of ozone. And likewise, the hydrocarbons and oxygen, they react with nitrogen dioxide. That results in the formation of PAN. So the ozone seems to be a photochemical smoke. The PAN seems to be a photochemical smoke. So these are all the secondary pollutants. The next one is the about the ozone. You just see how CFC, they are the carbon fluorocarbons, and the automobiles, the greenhouse gases and the fossil fuels, the radiations are absorbed. And you just see the solar energy. They shed, and here the pollutants are being released, reaction is being carried out, they escape the radiation, and they are being turned out in the form of secondary pollutant. The ozone is the three atoms of oxygen. The color of the gas will be blue. 90% of the Earth's ozone is in the stratosphere. So, absolutely, the stratosphere can be referred as the ozone layer. This ozone seems to be a umbrella-like one, which is absorbing a band of UV radiation that's called as the ultraviolet band. And what are the sources of nitrogen oxide here? You just see the fuel combustion, the industrial emission, the automobile emission. Altogether, they are the sources of nitrogen oxide. And this one more diagrammatic representation of nitrogen oxide emission. And what are all the effects? Climate may change, animal habitat may be disrupted, agriculture productivity may go down due to climatic change, flood, famine, drought, hurricanes, forest fire, volcanic eruption may happen. And how the degree of warming will be there. This is one of the geographical area. How their degree of warming will be seen. It will not be uniform everywhere. Higher latitudes, when you compare with the plains, they are more sensitive one. And coming to the global warming, everyone know it's the increase in the temperature of the earth near the surface area or in the ocean. Since in the mid 20th century, it has been advocated and it is projected everywhere. So, the other and synonymous term will be the climatic change. Global warming is nothing but climatic change. The temperature may be increased from about 0.74 to 0.18 degrees Celsius during the 100 years ending in 2005. So the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, concludes in the mid 20th century, the increased temperature is likely due to the increase in the greenhouse gas concentration. So the increased greenhouse gases are directly proportional to the greenhouse effect. When you calculate an increased greenhouse gas, then you can see the increased greenhouse effect will be there. So they're directly proportional. The temperature changes are more complicated and they depend upon the energy that are received by the air molecules. There's two main sources of the radiation of the sun and the earth. The temperature may show a drop in the troposphere, but increase in stratosphere, then once again decrease in the mesosphere and increase in the thermosphere. Air pressure too always decrease with increasing height. So accordingly, the temperature, the pressure, the greenhouse gases concentration, the global warming too will change. You just see the greenhouse effect. Here, solar radiation passes through the clear atmosphere. The incoming solar radiation. And here, the infrared radiation is absorbed and re emitted by the greenhouse gas molecules. And this Earth's surface warms up. Our surface gains more heat, and infrared radiation is emitted again. Since solar radiation is reflected by the atmosphere and the Earth's surface, the outgoing solar radiation temperature is about 103 watts per meter. Some of the infrared radiation passes through the atmosphere and is lost in the space. So, this is one representation of a carbon dioxide cycle. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that enters into the ocean. And plants, you just say they are taking up the carbon dioxide. And here, fossil fuel are emitting the carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide are found in the lithosphere, the limestone, the dolomites, the rock areas. And during the photosynthesis, what they will do, the plants automatically they'll be emitting the gas. So that gas will be coming and being absorbed by the water molecules in the ocean. So that is being cycled once again from the water to the land and to the plants and once to the atmosphere and once to the water. So from the aquatic to the terrestrial and to the atmosphere and once again to the aquatic. It is going on cycling like this. When there is an increase in the carbon dioxide concentration, then that will contribute a hole in the ozone layer. You just see how much air pollutants is being released. So this is the fundamental reason for the increase in greenhouse gases. And the greenhouse emissions may be caused due to the rapid industrialization, population explosion, depletion of natural resources, natural phenomena, modification of ecosystems, and deforestation, urbanization, and everything. So, greenhouse gases, they warm up the planet. They have a mean warming effect of about 33 degrees Celsius. Some of the important greenhouse gases are the water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, ozone. The strength of the greenhouse effect changes when the human activity increases the atmospheric concentration of the greenhouse gases. As already I have pointed out, these two are directly proportional one. When the greenhouse gases concentration increases, then their effect too will be increasing. When it's decrease in the concentration, then the effect too will go down. So how much greenhouse gases are being emitted in the atmosphere is a question. And here, this is also one of the representation of greenhouse effect. The sun, the atmosphere, earth, and all the layers and the human activity, everything synchronizes and works in a cyclic manner. And when we talk about the effects of the greenhouse gases, because of the increase in the greenhouse gases, you can see the global warming, increased temperature in the earth. So, due to the increased temperature, then the sea level will be increasing. Weather events and the climatic change will be there. Pattern and the amount of precipitation, that is nothing but the rain and the rainfall amount will be changing. Glacier retreat, and there will be a mass species extinction. A number of species are under the threat of extinction. Endangered species are there. That is all because of the greenhouse gas and the global warming. An increase in the range of disease vectors. And coming to the carbon cycle, the increased emission of the carbon dioxide, which ultimately leads to the rise in the global temperature. Now, the terrestrial vegetation, the microorganism, and the terrestrial animals, the birds, the human beings, everything are being affected. And the rising impacts of the global warming, with continued and intensive release of the fossil fuel and the increased amount of the greenhouse gases, more than 40% of the known species are under the threat of extinction. There is an economic loss of about 5% GDP. Partial melting of the Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets. Global food production decreases. Global coastal wetlands are being lost. Natural systems, they show a negative consequence and negative effects. Biodiversity loss. Water and food supply showed a decrease. Millions of people will face the flood risk every year. Then mortality occurs due to heat waves, flood, drought, precipitation, landslides, and contagious waterborne disease. And in some way, there will be decreased water availability, drought, wildfire risk, storm damage, malnutrition, diarrhea, respiratory and infectious disease, and reproductive inability. And the fecundity, the reproductive rate of the birds, the reproductive rate of the animals, everything showed a sharp decline. So, the melting of the polar ice caps, when it occurs, then we can see the rise in the sea level. That is a threat to the people who live near the sea coastal area. So that throws a alarming signal to the global ecosystem. And other fallouts are the spread of the disease, then the intensity of the drought and the heat waves, and the economic consequence. And totally, in one sentence, we can tell the destruction of the ecosystem. You just see how the melting ice and the rising sea level. Here, the melting of our ice in the South Pole, and that have been partly separated. And this is a photo being taken in the from the NASA. You just see the high mountain glaciers are being residing, and thereby ice or melted, resulting in the formation, resulting in the sea level increase. And when we talk about the meteorological and the environmental variables, here this graph depicts the global mean temperature. You just see, and from the 1940, we are in 2020. You just see, there is a steep rise in the global mean temperature. And it is anticipated that when we reach 2060, the entire global temperature will be shooting up. And you just see the precipitation from 1940, the mean precipitation, that is the rainfall quantity 2, shows a increase. So that is because of what? Because of the change in the temperature, change in the greenhouse gases, change in the global warming. So vegetation may change, precipitation may change, animal population may change, animal life will be disrupted, the whole human world will be disrupted, the environmental ecosystem will be disturbed. And comes to the ozone layer, which is the tropospheric ozone layer. Here there is a secondary air pollutant. This is a component of the photochemical smoke. This ozone layer, which seems to be a shield for us, will started to form a small hole in between the layer. And that is because of the man-made pollutant. There is a depletion in the ozone hole. That's because of the man made activities. Because of his greedy activities, you just see the UV radiations are reaching the earth, crossing all the different layers. But you just see the ozone layer, which is the top of the stratosphere, is protecting us. It is acting as a barrier. But when the ozone layer becomes depleted, when there is no continuous ozone layer, when there are some holes are formed in between the ozone layer, then the UV radiation will be penetrating through the holes and reaching us. Then we all will be affected. And the greenhouse gases, such as the CFC, the chlorofluorohydrocarbons, the carbon dioxide, the water vapors, they're all the responsible for the ozone hole. And you just see, these are all the various sources for the ozone layer depletion. Of all the solvent cleaning products, they comprise of 36.1 percentage, refrigeration and air conditioning 29.6 percentage, foam products 14.3, halogens 12 percentage, aerosol 5 percentage, and sterilization 3 percentage. The ODS, they are nothing but the ozone depleting substances. CFC, HCFC, halogens, methyl bromide, carbon tetrachloride, methyl chloroform. Here, the chlorofluorocarbons, they are the coolants used in refrigerators and air conditioners. The greenhouse gases, they bring about the effect similar to that in a glass house. So only they are called as the greenhouse gases, and they are the major culprits of this ODS. Hence, they are said to be the evil and a curse for us. The ODS, the chlorofluorocarbons. It attributes to more than 80% of all the ozone depletion. This is a coolant in the freezer, refrigerator, air conditioners, in dry cleaning agents, in hospitals, in industrial solvents, in the foam products such as the mattress and the cushions and home insulation. Hydrofluorocarbons. They served in the place of the chlorofluorohydrocarbons. They're not that much harmful when you compare with the CFC. Halons. They are used in the fire extinguishers in scenarios where the equipments or the material could be devastated by the water as the extinguisher chemicals. Carbon tetrachloride. They are extracted in the fire extinguishers and solvent. Methyl chloroform. They are commonly utilized in the industries for cold cleaning, vapor decreasing, chemical processing, adhesives, and some aerosols. Ozone depletion process. Here, from the sun, the UV radiations are reaching and they are reacting with the CFC. So the CFC rises into the ozone layer. And here also, the chlorides that destroy the ozone. So ozone becomes depleted. So more UV radiations are reaching the earth. In the ozone layer, they will be absorbing the UV rays and they undergoes a photochemical reaction. So ozone is dissociated into molecular oxygen and oxygen atom. This loss of ozone is automatically compensated by the formation of ozone in the atmosphere. The large amount of ozone is depleted by the nitrogen oxide. So nitrogen oxide is formed by the conversion of the nitrogen due to the solar activity. And the modern ways of the life of the human being led to the depletion of ozone umbrella. So it is called as the anthropogenic process. Chlorofluorocarbons are the ozone eaters. They eat, they scavenge, they deplete the ozone layer. This is a 3D image of the ozone hole. Ozone hole. This was a picture taken in the year 1987. So, because of the already said chemicals such as the nitrous oxide, chlorofluorocarbons, halogens, the ozone hole and the ozone layer get depleted and the ozone hole gets thinning off. That is, the ozone layer gets thinning off and the ozone holes are becoming here and there. That is because of the pollution reaction in the presence of sunlight and because of the formation of the secondary pollutant photochemical smog. The Antarctic ozone hole is defined as the area having less than 220 Dobson unit, that is the unit where you can measure the ozone with. And the sunlight is acting as a catalyst in breaking up the ozone layer. They break up the CFC to produce the chloride. They combine with the oxygen atoms, preventing them from combining with oxygen to form the ozone, thus creating a lack of ozone molecules in the atmosphere. So ozone depletion occurs in the stratosphere. So electromagnetic spectrum with the wavelength just short of the visible light or reaching. Here ozone present at normal level. Here ozone present at reduced level. It's a comparative account. And likewise, climatic change, temperature. What are the changes that occurs in stratosphere? So cooling of lower stratosphere contributes to the ozone loss. chlorine activation below 195 Kelvin temperature in the stratosphere. Antarctic below this threshold in the winter season. Arctic below this threshold less in the winter season. Less ozone loss from the chlorine. This ozone thinning, that is, ozone layer becomes thinning, resulting in the formation of the hole, was first identified in the year 1985 over Antarctica. That is because of the human made anthropogenic activities. And coming to the health effects of the ozone depletion, humans are most affected. Their overexposure to the strong UV light causes skin cancer, cataracts, sunburn, weakening of the immune system, quick aging too. You just see, when our immune system is affected, any pathogen, any antigen which enter into the body through different sources will infect us, and we are prone to any sort of disease. So our immune system should be very strong. So because of the global warming, because of the greenhouse gas, the ozone layer gets depleted and the radiations are reaching the earth, and that is also affecting our immune system and directly our health. Higher levels of the UV radiation hitting the earth affects the eye cataract, skin cancer. When you talk about the animal, they also leads to the skin cancer and eye cancer and their immunity too. And the ozone depletion not only affects the animal and the human being, it is a major threat to the marine organism. The planktons, they are greatly affected. The aquatic food chain, that is disrupted. Planktons, they appear high up. Their population started to decline. Usually, the plankton's number will be high, either in aquatic, that is in the marine, or in the freshwater aquatic habitat, the population of planktons will be more. But due to the UV radiations, the plankton's number will be decreasing. So the marine food chain will be disrupted. The fishes, the aquatic life, the aquatic organisms, the marine life, everything is a challenge. And they may disturb the ecosystem too. Our crop, our agriculture productivity, our forest, the photosynthetic activity, the flowering, our agriculture yield, everything will be going down. Even in the materials too are being affected, like plastic, wood, fabrics, rubber, they're all degraded by the UV radiations because of the ozone depletion, because of the hole. Everything is exposed, everything is opened. So we are exposed to that. We are not at all protected. We don't have that much protective layer. Due to the holes, due to the thinning of the ozone layer, everything is open. So repeatedly we are exposed to that. Either the animal or the human being or the plant or the ecosystem or the aquatic habitat, everything is being exposed. So automatically, one to one, they are affected. And how to mitigate the global warming? How to reduce it? What are the ways we can adopt to reduce the global warming? So we have to reduce the greenhouse gases, their emission. This is a global problem. This is a world problem. Every nook and corner is under threat. So we have to follow the actions, follow the remedy measures in order to mitigate it. What are all the duties of a citizen? What are the duties of a human being? To protect ourselves, to protect the animals, to protect the earth. We have to keep our automobiles well tuned. We have to check it. We have to maintain it. We have to check the gasoline line, our refrigerators, our industrial equipments, our automobiles, our chemicals, our solvents being used, our car tires, our petrols, our gasolines, everything. That should be periodically checked and periodically maintained. And what are the solutions to the ozone depletion? Even though we are checking, even though we are maintaining, even though we are periodically monitoring, what are the other solutions and other ways to prevent from the ozone depletion? Pesticides, the chemicals, that should be reduced. Alternatively, eco-friendly chemicals we can use. Number of vehicles can be reduced. The number of automobiles that are being running on the road, that can be reduced. Eco-friendly vehicles, the bicycles and other emissionless vehicles, which in future can be adapted. And household cleaning products without loaded of harsh chemicals can be used. Environmentally friendly cleaning products can be used. For that, the Montreal Protocol, which was signed in the year 1989, they repeatedly told to limit the use of CFC in the household products. The protocol never covered nitrous oxide, which is a known harmful chemical that can destroy the ozone layer. Still, nitrous oxide is still in use today. Governments must take stringent action. They should outlaw the nitrous oxide used to reduce the rate of ozone depletion. And what about the Montreal Protocol? Here, that was formed in the 1989. First started in the year 1987, the Montreal Protocol, and last it was signed in the year 1989. It is an international treaty designed to protect the ozone layer. The aim and the objective of the Montreal Protocol to phase out the production of numerous substances that are responsible for the ozone depletion. Phase out, removal, fire out, just exclude it. The unwanted chemicals, the unwanted oxides, gases that are responsible for ozone depletion. The chemicals which are under check, which should be under check, are the CFC halones, HCFC methyl bromide, and ODS. So these ODS should be phased out, should be excluded. Thereby, we can save our earth. We can switch on to the environmentally friendly products. So, September 16th was celebrated as the International Ozone Day. Why? What is the purpose of that? Is the in order to create awareness about the importance of stratospheric ozone and how to protect us and how to protect the earth. Every citizen, every human being, they should understand their responsibility of protecting the earth. We should minimize the use of unwanted, polluting gases containing either the automobile or the equipments or the machineries, in our home or in industries or in the office or as a transport one. So, thereby, each individual, when they contribute their role, on the whole, we all join our hands together, then at one point, we'll be achieving and we'll be saving our earth. We are living, our forefathers have lived, but still, our kids, our granddaughters, they have to live, and this human population, this animal population, should continue in the form of a chain. So it is our bounded duty to protect our earth, our atmosphere, our air, and everything for our future generation, for us, for our future generation. So think universally, think globally, think the earth, save the mother planet. Thank you for giving this opportunity, and we all will put our hands together to save our mother planet. At this juncture, I would like to thank the principal of Arulmigu Palniyandawar College, Dr. Puneshwari, and the head of the department of zoology, Dr. Muthulakshmi ma'am, and Dr. Uma Mageshwari, who is the coordinator of this program and who approached me and gave this opportunity. So I thank all, each one of you, and all the participants and all the students community who are all listening this, and I request you all to take home message that each one of us have to discharge our duties to save our mother planet. Thank you.